Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling with might, the Golden Octagon. The stage we ignite. Unleashing the fury like an untamed beast, locked in a cage where strength is released. Striking precision, grappling might, the Golden Octagon. The stage we ignite.
And we are live. Welcome to the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast with your hosts, Matt and D Rose.
That's us. And this is the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast. My name is Matt, and D Rose is on that cyber screen. What's going on, y'all? Welcome. Appreciate y'all for stopping by, hanging out with us here tonight. Tonight, we are here to chat UFC Mexico recap from this past weekend. We got some UFC fight news and announcements to go over, and some big ones this weekend. You know, I love to get D Rose's opinion and the chat as well. And then lastly, we'll close out the show with this upcoming weekend's card. It's going to be in the Apex, so you know it's an Apex card. UFC Vegas 105, Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy. But D Rose, even though the card, I guess, doesn't really stand out as a banger, there's a few spots, dude, that I already like. FanDuel's already got all the props already opened up for us this week. Like, shout out FanDuel this week. Not sponsored, by the way, but if y'all want to sponsor us, hey, hit you boys up, please. But with that being said, how you been over this past week, D Rose?
Yeah, no, things have been great. You know, I know as far as betting wise last week, dude, I got absolutely smoked in every which way possible. I've been on a bad streak. I mean, I had a good weekend a couple weekends ago, but other than that, man, like, and sometimes it's one leg, and sometimes all of them bust. But I mean, man, it's been a bad streak for me here lately. So hoping for some good juju this weekend. Man, my biggest problem is that I end up putting too many legs. It's like, just take one off. You know, maybe plus 400 is fine. I don't need to go for the plus 900 if I'm confident in that plus 400 to get it done, you know. But you add that extra leg, it makes it a little bit sweeter, and it doesn't go through. So want to start doing a little bit more risk management here going forward.
Yeah. I feel you, dude. This past weekend, I mean, we'll get into it, but it hurts a little bit because, like, I had the right read. Why didn't, like, looking back at it, you know, I picked Drew Dober to win. Drew Dober was my most confident play of the week. Why didn't I just take the under 1.5? Like, there was no way that fight was going over one and a half rounds, you know? Like,
not a chance.
Why didn't I just do under 1.5? You know, I'd been on a streak with the under 1.5s too. You know, C-Rod didn't come through for us. So just a rough one for us, dude. The first time that both legs of the podcast parlay fall off, dude. We had been on a hell of a streak, dude. Like 7 weeks in a row, 6 weeks, some shit like that.
Yeah,
it was wild.
Yeah, we've been on a roll, dude. Yeah, dude. Last couple of weeks, man. I'm not gonna lie. After watching Rafa Garcia, and we'll get into it, I was like, why did I not just do Rafa Garcia round 3 decision? Like, I'm just sitting there questioning myself after the fact. I know I shouldn't be doing it, but yeah, definitely kicking myself for that one.
Yeah, dude. Just hindsight's always 20/20, man. Let's get into the chat though. We got Antoine here. Yo, what's up? My favorite night of the work week, boys. What's going on, Antoine? Appreciate you for stopping by tonight, brother. Came right on time because, man, I went through some bullshit at work today. Gonna take this show to shows 2 was off to bad vibes. I don't know if I said that right.
I think he meant to say to wash off the bad vibes.
Yeah,
but
yeah. All right.
yeah,
How
I
was
think that's
y'all's
what he meant
weekend
to
though?
say.
Hope it was eventful. Yeah, good weekend. Yeah, wish I won some money to be honest. We got Austin in here. Hola, Senor Matt and Senor D Rose. ¿Cómo estás? I'm good, Austin. I'm good, dude. Drew Dober, his
Salute.
trash. Oh man, don't say that. Drew Dober's been fun. I just, I mean, I guess we can go ahead and get into it. Let's get our UFC Mexico recap. So this past weekend in Mexico, Brandon Moreno defeats Steve Erceg via decision. Yeah, I feel like if Brandon Moreno maybe put his foot on the gas a few times, he probably could have finished Steve Erceg, because as Steve Erceg's name implies, Astro Boy, Brandon Moreno had him like floating out in space a few times. He was like trying to catch his balance, dude. It just looked odd, but another fantastic performance from Brandon Moreno. But co-main event, Drew Dober versus Manuel Torres. And this is one that it just hurts me, dude, because Drew Dober has been notoriously has this iron chin for the longest time, dude. And a few fights ago, Matt Frevola like cracked him, put him out, and like that was the first time I had ever actually put like a solid chunk of money on a fight. It was on him and Jalen Turner, and they both lose at UFC 300. So, yeah, just bad flashbacks.
No, that was Gaethje. That was Gaethje and Turner for UFC 300.
Yeah. Sorry. But anyway, lost my train of thought.
As far as being confident in Drew Dober's chin.
Yeah. But then it got cracked by Matt Frevola, and then like the Gene Silva happened, but he didn't really like put Drew Dober out. So it's like, all right, like I didn't think Drew Dober was done, man. But after this one, dude, it's like I'm going to be very hesitant going forward as to putting my money on Drew Dober. Now, a Drew Dober fight and an under, I mean, you can still count me in, because as long as UFC puts him in there with a banger, I believe the fight's still going to go under. But my bet this past weekend should have been the under for this fight. It was Drew Dober, and I'll go ahead and hold that L. It's just sad to see, because Drew Dober for the longest time has notoriously been like unfinishable. And then in these just past few fights, his chin's just slowly been cracked. And, 37 now, I think it's about that time to just, acknowledge that, our favorites, the fun ones, like that we love to watch, don't stay fun and last forever. And I think this is that time. I will acknowledge it's time to hop off the betting on Drew Dober train. You got anything for the main or the co-main event, man?
Yeah, I just thought the main event overall, I thought that Brandon Moreno, I thought he put on a great performance. I told you I thought he won 4 rounds to 1, in my opinion. I mean, I thought you could maybe say that Erceg won I think it was the 3rd round as well. But I mean, I gave it to Moreno. And yeah, I thought Moreno just looked spectacular. He's looked better since he had that little break after the Royval fight, or whatever you want to call it. But the only thing that sucks is that he's not really going to be able to get a championship opportunity, because he's already lost Pantoja 3 times. So it's not like anybody's going to be in a rush to want to see that fight. So he's kind of like in this Robert Whittaker, Max Holloway kind of spot where he's kind of like the best guy, but he can't fight for the belt because he's already lost to the guy with the belt. So it's like he has to defend his spot. But he's done it well. And, Steve Erceg, good fighter too, man. But definitely need to step down in competition. I think, I know he got the title fight kind of early just because they were looking for somebody to, maybe try to beat Pantoja, or not beat Pantoja, but just a fresh matchup. But I think Erceg step down to competition wouldn't necessarily hurt him, just because where he has such a quick climb. I don't think he was necessarily ready for that type of competition yet. And unfortunately, it's like once you fight and you get up to that point, it's like you're stuck there now. And you have to fight all the top guys. So step down in competition wouldn't be bad for Erceg, but I still think Erceg will be back and be strong as well. So I'm not too down on him. But I just thought it was a Brandon Moreno night. And for the co-main event, just as quick as it was, man, yeah, one of my parlays, of course, as I'm I'm sitting here talking about it, that I had Drew Dober on one of those legs too. Like I was pretty confident Drew Dober getting the job done. And as you said, watching his chin just go out like that. And dude, just to watch the unnecessary shots that he took. Like I remember after probably the 5th or 6th one, I was like, okay, you can stop it now, because you can see that he is literally going down as the shots are landing on the back of his ear. And finally he ends up stopping it 15 shots later, and then Drew Dober gets knocked unconscious and then back into consciousness and did not realize the fight had been stopped and had to be told,
and it was trying to fight still.
Yeah, and Manuel Torres was bring it on, but I don't think Manuel Torres was realizing in the moment, dude, he literally got rocked, put to sleep, and woke back up. Yeah, he was absolutely rocked. Sucked for Drew Dober to see that happen to him, man. But as you said, maybe the greats don't last in terms of the war guys that we love to watch. But man, that's why we gotta appreciate them while they're here, man. Because while they're here, they put on those fun fights. It doesn't last forever, man. So you gotta appreciate them while they still got it.
Hell yeah, man, dude. Shout out Drew Dober. Anyway, feature fight of the night was Edgar Chairez, CJ Vergara, dude. This was one of the other ones, dude, where I was like, why didn't I just bet that straight, dude? I had it in every parlay. Edgar Chairez round 1, round 2, Edgar Chairez sub round 1, round 2. But it was tied into every other parlay that had already fell out, dude. So I'm just sitting here just pissed off at the end of the night. Like, damn, dude, why, dude? Why? I needed to just bet it, because I think it was maybe plus 380, plus 420 maybe. I was like, it was an easy, $50-$60 right there. And of course,
just my sub was plus 290. Yeah, just because I had the submission prop and I had the finish prop. So because I thought he was gonna get the finish. But yeah, even my submission was plus 290 because I had that played too. But same thing you did. Dude, I had too many legs.
Just feeling like an idiot. But Edgar Chairez absolutely smoked CJ Vergara in the first round. And I hope they don't cut CJ Vergara, because he is kind of this good test to see if you are UFC level or not. Any thoughts on that fight, man, or you want to move along?
Yeah, the young, the flyweight Alex Pereira. I guess we were kind of talking about just in terms of, dude, he looked a lot like Alex Pereira in there, just from the haircut, the stance, and that left hook. That left hook was absolutely nasty. Yeah, and the reason why I told you I played the finish prop was because I played the finish prop and I played Drew Dober money line. I don't know why I did that, but I was like, man, I saw the boxing that Edgar Chairez was doing when he was training. I was like, dude, he might mess around and get a knockout, because dude, he was throwing uppercuts and hooks. Dude, he was trying to take CJ Vergara's head off, and then finally landed a big left hook. Went in there for the kill. He was kind of playing around for a second, throwing his hands up, and I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Go for the finish.
Yeah.
But once he jumped on him, dude, he wasted no time, got that neck crank, and you gotta love the story of him talking about how he ended up having to get a surgery, and that his granddad ended up being the one that sold his truck so Edgar Chairez could have his surgery, and now his granddad ended up passing away and all that stuff. So it was just a sad story to hear, but great victory for Edgar Chairez, and the backstory even more made me even a bigger fan of him, man. So yeah, 100% rooting for Edgar Chairez. Whether he's going to be a champ or not, I don't know, but every time I've seen that dude fight, he's in a slugfest. He's giving it 100%. He's tested a lot of tough guys, so yeah, love me some Edgar Chairez, man. He's fun to watch.
Hell yeah, dude. Raul Rosas Jr., Vince Morales, dude. Apparently, Raul Rosas Jr. Came out after the fight and was like, I didn't understand, the altitude, this, and that. It's like, dude, you had really no one told you about the altitude in Mexico City. So he said that the first round, he was good, but then he just kind of gassed, dude. He still ended up winning the fight via decision, dude. Feel bad for Vince Vendetta Morales, because it's he gets cut from the UFC, beats everyone outside of the UFC, gets signed back, and then just has to fight killer after killer after killer. So it's do they give Vince one more shot, or do they cut him? What do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing them give him another shot, because I did see that he had I believe, I can't remember if it was an Instagram post or whatever, but he had posted a video where, he was kind of down on his luck, talking about, the circumstances and stuff like that. I mean, I feel like they had to end up giving him at least one more chance, because he just fought like a month ago. I mean, he fought pretty. I know he lost, but he fought
Elijah
well.
Smith.
And he fought well, and some people thought he won the fight. I know you were big on picking him going into that fight as well. And, for that fight as well with Raul Rosas, he was competitive on short notice. That is one of the things that the UFC typically likes from their guys, is to take those types of short notice fights. So I got to imagine that they would at least give him one more chance. But I think after this next chance, if he loses, I wouldn't be surprised to see him cut.
Yeah, because right now, dude, he's 16-10, dude. And, I mean, you're a bantamweight. It's like, how do you even market that? So yeah, maybe one more, dude, but fun fighter, tricky submissions. But if you know how to get out of them, then I think you're good. Anyway, David Martinez, Simon Oliveira, Martinez gets the first round knockout. Simon Oliveira is just not a good fighter, dude. I don't even want to talk anymore about that. How about you?
Badass knockout from David Martinez. Six step back right, and the finishing combo too with the ground and pound. He's gonna be fun to watch.
Yeah, he's kind of small though. And I wouldn't look into that fight too much, because Simon Oliveira's ass, he gasses, and it was elevation too. So it's like, it was an early finish. So I guess that's cool, but at the same time, Simon Oliveira is not really that good. So, maybe I'll pump my brakes just a little bit. Also, sister of Super Melly, Melissa Martinez. Brother of Melissa Martinez.
Wait a minute.
Yeah. Anyway, moving on down. Ronaldo, Lazy Boy Rodriguez, Kevin Borjas, dude. This one's one that just ruined my shit all night, dude. It's just like, come on, Lazy Boy. You're fighting a Peruvian that has no grappling at all, and you just decide to strike with him all 3 rounds. Did you even go for a takedown? So I'm gonna let you break this one down so I don't get mad, D-Rose, because I'm gonna get mad.
Yeah, no, I am 100% with you, and I think everybody is with you on that. Okay, cool. You went into the Ode Osborne fight. I even said, in my breakdown last week, was that he gets hit a lot. Lazy Boy gets hit a lot. He got dropped in his last fight. I thought he had lost the fight against Ode Osborne, if I'm being honest. But he was able to use his takedown to end up kind of preserving that third round to, I guess, what ended up helping him utilize that third round to get the win. But, in this fight, after he got dropped in the first round, I almost felt like he was playing to the crowd a little bit too much. Was it a pretty cool moment when he got dropped and then he kind of just rolled back and then stood up and, waved them to come on? Yeah, that was a pretty sweet moment. But let's be honest, okay, you did that, cool, but you pretty much got your ass kicked that whole fight. And on the feet, you had no chance against Kevin Borjas. That looked like the Kevin Borjas that you had told me about before going into that Josh Mann fight. Because I remember you told me that he was usually hey, this guy, he's got some crispy hands. And I remember after the Josh Mann fight, I was questioning. I was like, Kevin Borjas, is he really that good? And then Kevin Borjas got finished again. So I'm sitting here thinking he should be able to get.
Yeah, but by Alessandro Costa that went out there, took him down, and just pounding him out from the back. It's that's what we all expected Lazy Boy to do,
right.
Didn't even try.
Right. And that's the thing. Didn't try to go for the takedown. That was the worst part. So if he had attempted and Kevin Borjas had stuffed, 4 or 5 takedowns, I think there was quite literally one takedown attempt in the first. He didn't get it and just pretty much got beat up the whole rest of the fight. So good performance from Kevin Borjas, though. Hands looked crispy. That night, you can say job was on the line for him. So I'll say, instead of shitting on Ronaldo Rodriguez, that was a good moment there for Kevin Borjas. Job saving performance, in my opinion.
Yeah. For me, Antoine, I don't think fraud check. I think just a bad game plan. I just want to know, what was the game plan? Was it to go in there and strike with this dude? Because if so, you got to change coaches, man. What are you doing? You the path to victory is already laid out. It just happened. Why? you know, I don't even know what to say. Anyway, pounding him from the back. Indeed, he did. Anyway, prelims, D-Rose. Prelims, Jose Medina, Ateba Gaudier, dude. We also got more. Come on. He was waving them on. Dude, Atiba Gaudier is obviously looks just like Francis. They had the same face, muscled up. He's at middleweight though. Pretty much my thought was, is anyone able to finish Jose Medina? Because he's just like a punching bag that's made of, you know, sand. I don't know. It's like you just punch him and it doesn't matter. Your fist just goes in him and he's like walks forward like this. And that's kind of how the fight started. Like Atiba Gaudier was just landing bombs on this dude. And he's just like, and then at one point, dude, he's doing the motion and Atiba grabs his head and bashes him with a knee. He ends up on the ground with his arms still doing this. And the ref just calls it off. I don't think that he got knocked out, dude. I think it was just like, oh, I guess this dude's done. So, like, I don't even think they finished him, to be honest. I still don't think he's been knocked out. You know, 100%. Did he get the stoppage? Yeah, but I don't know, man. Thoughts on Atiba Gaudier in this fight, if anything?
Yeah, Jose Medina reminds me of that episode of SpongeBob when Flats kept telling SpongeBob that he was going to kick his butt, and then finally when he punched SpongeBob, like SpongeBob does like squeak, like and like the punches aren't affecting him at all. Like that's like Jose Medina for the most part, dude. Like he's like, just literally that's all he does. Like he just gets punched and just waits somebody to come on and just tells him to punch him. That's literally. That's his whole game. Like that is his game plan.
That's why Dana signed him. He's like, I don't know what it is. I like him.
Like Jose, what's your game plan going into this fight? He's like, come on, brother, come on. Like
eat some punches and on.
It's crazy. Dude, yeah, Gautier looked awesome though. Yeah, I swear, and I was so close to picking Medina last week because I was, you know what, why not? But I was like, nah, I can't be that stupid. I can't be that stupid, and understandably so. Yeah, there's two different levels of athlete there, and dude, Gautier, that dude looks like an absolute nightmare for anybody coming up. So let him get a little bit of cardio because. You know damn well he's only had a few fights and almost all of them are finishes. His cardio ain't gonna be jack shit. But let him get cardio done.
He actually went to decision, I think, on the Contender Series, dude, which is wild.
Oh yeah, that's right, he did. Yeah, that's right, he did. But I don't imagine that against levels of competition is going to offer him some resistance. If cardio is going to uphold then. So, but
yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, that is going to be a problem.
For sure. Anyway, your favorite side of the week, I'll let you talk about it, but C-Rod versus Ezekiel Costa, dude. And this fight didn't even go the way we thought it would go if C-Rod lost. It just another bad game plan, dude. Go ahead.
Yeah, just keeping it on the feet when he shouldn't, and then I mean, for me, I just thought that Costa, I mean, he just looked sharper on the feet overall. Just picking C-Rod apart. I mean, I really thought that C-Rod is going to try to use a little bit more wrestling, but because I think if you can put Costa on his back, he has shown that he can be wrestled now. I mean, but I will say that it does look like Costa since moving down into featherweight. I mean, he has been undefeated and honestly, he's looked good. I may have underrated him coming into this fight because C-Rod is so solid, and I mean, C-Rod by decision is a damn good bet if you're if you're a man who likes to make money, because more often than not, that's how it happens. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, I know Costa burned me, but Costa ended up looking a lot better than I anticipated. And maybe featherweight for him, maybe this really is his weight class.
Yeah. For me, I just didn't like was the plan like for C-Rod to just try to hold him up against like the fence, you know? Because if so, okay, you did that, but it's like you can't expect that you're going to do that and win. So I don't know. Just another one for me. That's like what was the game plan there? I guess I don't know. Anyway, moving on down, Lupita Godinez taking on Julia Palostri. This one would have been in the pick champ for the week, but Joe Pyfer versus Kelvin Gastelum fell out, and because you threw this one in last minute to make it 3, we didn't count this one either. But Lupi wins via decision, dude. A little bit from me on this fight. Shout out Lupi for using her wrestling again. Thank goodness, dude. And then I believe in between round 2 and 3, she told her corner she had to poop. So I cannot imagine her fighting the whole 3rd round with how the 3rd round went and having to take a dump, dude, because Julia Palostri was walking forward like a fucking zombie, dude. Arms down by her side, just winging, dude. She's going to be a fun fighter. Shout out for Lupi for getting it done, though. But, dude, if there is any female in the UFC that I'm like, they kind of got a gassing problem, and they fight Julia Palostri, dude. Round 3, Julia Palostri finish. I'm betting that 100%, dude, because after clearly losing the first 2 rounds, dude, she came on in that 3rd, dude, and I was looking like I was like, come on, Lupi, don't get knocked out. Don't get knocked out, dude. Because, dude, she was throwing so hard, dude. Oh, well, that was a barn burner, to be honest. It was not a PBF, you know. Shout out Lupi Godinez. Anyway, thoughts on that fight, man?
No, that was honestly, you can make the argument that was fight of the night, and I thought that Poopy Godinez looked really good early on, and then after the as you said, after the 3rd or after the 2nd round going into the 3rd, her mentioning that hey, she might have to take a poop. So sidebar real quick, I did hear her interview with Ariel Helwani this week, and she said that like that was one of the roughest experiences that she's had, was like fighting against
Joe
somebody.
Pyfer pulled out because of it, like
Yeah, well, that is true. That is true. Joe Pyfer said he had it coming out of both ends, but which I'm sure, and honestly, I would not be surprised, because apparently, like, I think Lupi Godinez also said her coach got sick and things like that, but yeah, I could only imagine how Lupi felt, and then seeing Julia Palestri do that, dude. I was like, dude, after this, I was like, there is not going to be a fight of hers that I'm going to miss, dude. I was like, dude, the way that she was just absolutely walking Lupi down, just throwing big hooks, stuffing the takedowns. But, dude, I can only imagine how much effort Lupi was able to reserve, because, dude, if she takes a wrong step too wide, dude, could you imagine, like, the shit just running down her leg? Like, she goes for it, like, a takedown
from just one knee to the stomach, dude. Could you imagine that?
And I can imagine that it's probably a little watery too. You know what I mean? It's probably, she's probably pissing at her ass at that point, with the Mexican water and stuff like that. So yeah, I can only imagine how rough it was. But yeah, Julia Palestri, I'm definitely watching her next fight. But yeah, good win for Lupi.
Yeah, for sure. And Antoine, I could for sure see them adding 105. I would prefer that over the 145, I believe. Yeah. How about you, Deros?
The reason why I don't think so is because 145 was such a failure, and honestly, at this point, 135 is a very hard sell. The women's divisions have been a little rough for a while now. I think the women's division that is the best right now, in my opinion, is probably flyweight. I think flyweight's kind of like that perfect sweet spot, and normally strawweight has most of it's the most. I guess you can say most decorated division of most recent years. Of course, 135 has most the biggest history, but between 115 and 135, it's a little bit tough as it is. So I don't know how much more atomweight's going to really help sell the women's game.
I think a lot of these smaller girls you see, like being able to come in. We we might even get to see like a Laura Sanko fight. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, the UFC kind of almost struggled with getting rid of men's flyweight. I mean, what is women's atomweight going to do? I guess that's just where I kind of stand with it.
Well, there's a lot more females that size than there are, depending on where you're at in the world.
Right.
There's a lot more females that are 105 than there are 145, So, yeah, with that being said, moving on down, we got Rafa Garcia defeats Vince Pichel via decision as expected. Jamal Emmers gets the first round knockout over Gabriel Miranda, dude. Is there anyone in the UFC that has worse striking defense than Gabriel Miranda, dude?
If there's one dude who knows how to get hit, it is Gabriel Miranda.
Dude, it's just like, I don't know if Jamal could have closed his eyes and just spun in circles, and every time he passed, he would have hit Gabriel Miranda, dude. It's like he tweaks this mustache up and fucking puts his chin out to get punched. Because, dude, it's like every punch Jamal Emmers threw was just rocking Gabriel Miranda, dude. Gabriel Miranda is, if he doesn't get that first round sub, dude, he's cooked. It don't matter where it's at, cooked. But yeah, Jamal Emmers gets the first round knockout, and then his coaches start arguing kind of back and forth. And then I saw one of his coaches did an interview that said, they've been having some history kind of going back and forth. So I couldn't imagine that. Like, you're trying to fight and your coaches are arguing to each other in the corner, man. And then Markel Medeiros gets the decision win over Austin Hubbard for our pick champ of the week. It was the only one that mattered, because Kelvin versus Joe Piper fell off, and we threw Lupi versus Palostri off. But either way, I would have clean swept you. But anyway, you ain't got to do the 3 beans, D-Rose. But what's your thoughts on Jamal Emmers and Medeiros versus Austin Hubbard before you get to eat
I'm not gonna lie. I actually did not watch the Hubbard and Medeiros fight. I was at work. I didn't watch it.
It was a close fight.
Hubbard lost. Yeah, after I knew Hubbard lost, I didn't go back and look. I was like, you know what, screw it. I already freaking lost. I'm not worried about it. But yeah, Jamal Emmers, as you said, I think Gabriel Miranda has he has a magnet in his chin to like a UFC glove. So like every single time he's in there, it's just absolute nightmare shots that he gets landed on. But yeah, the dude, I mean, Jamal Emmers, he looked good. He looked sharp. I mean, as you said, everything he threw, he was landing. So, I mean, good knockout from him, and it was a good way to really kick off the night. So, good knockout from him.
Yeah, it happened a little earlier than what I expected it to. Like, I expected Gabriel Miranda to at least last a round, but dude, as soon as the fight started, I was like, oh, this shit might not get out of this first minute. Like, he was just getting tagged up from the jump, dude. I was just like, Jesus Christ, dude. But I didn't get completely smoked. I did hit like a fucking prize picks like this past weekend, so I didn't get completely smoked, but I did lose a lot of bets this past weekend. So not a good betting weekend for your boy over here. And I know not for you either, dear Rose. Yeah, right. All right.
You got toasted.
Well, with that being said, different picks this past weekend were Markel Medeiros versus Austin Hubbard. And I went Markel Medeiros, you went Austin Hubbard. So time for the beans, D Rose. Our pod parlay of the week did fall out. Your C-Rod 3-year decision and my Drew Dober money line for the first time. They both lose, dude. Rough. So just to add insult to injury, look at D Rose.
So I had to order some new beans because my nephews on my wife's side ended up coming down here and messing with the other ones, and ended up opening them up and trashing them. So I had to get another box, but we came through.
Give them
It's gonna be another fresh. It's gonna be another fresh open because these little bastards came down here.
7th generation. You got 7th generation this time.
7th edition. Yeah,
that's even newer than what I got.
Yeah, well, honestly, most of them are the same except for it's burnt rubber and licorice and wet dog and top banana. So, and if I'm being honest, top banana. What the hell's top banana? Top banana?
Oh gosh. So banana flavored?
I think this one's it.
Which one? So it's
The
either what
banana
flavor?
or wet dog. Oh my
Dude,
gosh.
I hope it's wet dog, dude. Give us a wet
Oh
dog.
my goodness.
Give us a wet dog.
Oh my goodness.
Wet
I'm scared.
dog. Wet 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 dog. Where's he at?
Dude.
D Rose hates banana.
Dude. Like I almost feel like I got dog hair in my mouth now because dude, I'm not gonna lie, like that's awful. That is absolutely awful.
You
Oh my
wanted
gosh.
this. I was cool not doing this. Remember that. This is for you.
Oh shit.
All right.
Oh,
What's
gosh.
number 2? What's number 2?
So shit. I think this one is either dead fish
Oh, that
or
one's
strawberry
puke.
banana.
Oh, wait. No. In my box, that one would be puke flavor. All right. Here we go.
Dude. Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, barf, puke, whatever. Dude, my chest is still hurting from that damn wet dog, dude. I mean, I can't, dude. If this is dead fish, I'm just gonna pack it up and we're gonna call it a day.
D Rose gonna get the fish scales. Fish scales. Fish scales. Fish scales.
Peace, baby. Let's go.
All right. All right.
We'll take it. Let's go.
Yeah.
I deserve that. Dude, that wet dog was freaking awful.
Oh, so
I want
speaking of
you
Joe
need to
Piper,
get these. You need to get these. The one wet dog.
I mean, I mean, anyway, also speaking of Joe Piper, how do you guys feel about his words? I really thought they were stupid, not gonna lie. I don't know. Did you hear D Rose? What are you doing?
That's what I hate. That's what I hate.
Yeah, I mean, these are pretty bad too. I mean, stinky socks, stink bug, dead fish, old bandage, dude. That one's my kryptonite. I've got that one so many times, and it's so bad.
That's all reliable for you.
Yeah, dude. Anyway, how'd you feel about what Body Bags Joe Piper said about fighting in Mexico? D Rose, he said it was a shithole, and he don't care if it offends you, but he's not gonna fight there anymore, or some shit like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I saw what he said. I didn't necessarily take it as a way of him saying that he would never visit the place again, but I think in terms of like his professional career, you know, in terms of fighting there, I mean, they do say like, and I've never been to Mexico, but I've always heard the saying, "What? Don't drink the water.
Don't drink
when
the
you're down
water."
there."
Yeah,
Yeah, I've heard that. I don't know how many times, and I've never been to Mexico. Like, don't drink the water. Like the water, if you do. I worked with a couple of people who have went to Mexico and said they didn't even consume water and they had gotten sick. So I can understand Joe Piper, his professional career, take into account that, you know, he goes through training camp, he's paying all his coaches to come out, and now he doesn't even get a chance to fight, doesn't even get a chance to make the money. Now he's got to pay out all his coaches and stuff like that, and he didn't even get a chance to fight. I can understand him being upset and saying like, damn, dude, like, you know, that was a big opportunity for me. That was a big opportunity for him to fight a very big name. And he didn't get that opportunity because he felt like it was taken away from him for, you know, him being precautious, and it still ended up biting him in the butt. So I can understand why he was a little bit upset. Did he sound a little, you know, dorkish when he was talking? Sure. But I can understand where he's coming from to a certain extent as well, because a big opportunity was taken away from him for what he feels is not his own fault.
Fair. Fair. All right. Well, with that being said, let's move into our news and fight announcements that we got for this week. We got Antoine calling a country a shithole is crazy. Yeah. I mean, probably not the best choice of words, but it's a cage fighter. He gets punched in the face for a living. Let's not pretend like gonna be like A1 smartest guy in the world. So with that being said, let's get into our news for the week. So let me share my screen, D Rose, and I'm gonna start off with this. And it's because we still don't have confirmation that who Ilya is fighting. Islam says it's not him. And we don't have a confirmation exactly. What the hell? Okay.
I was like, huh.
Why did it do that? And we don't have a confirmation exactly about who Dustin Poirier is fighting. But he did say that he only wants to fight legends. And Ilya Taporia just now changed his fight name to The Legend. You think that's a possibility? Because that's a terrible fight for DP, if so.
I mean, it is a bad fight for Dustin Poirier. I mean, it would be an awesome fight. I wouldn't want to see that for Dustin Poirier's last fight, but damn, I ain't gonna lie, that would be a good one though. I mean, and Dustin, dude, his combos, his counter boxing. I mean, I think if Ilya, obviously he's gonna have the power advantage, but let's be fair here. I mean, he was getting lit up by Volkanovski a little bit before he ended up getting that big finish. Ilya is not this unstoppable force, and we've seen Dustin Poirier go in there and go through the meat grinder with some of the best of them and come out on the other end. So, yeah, I mean, I really like that fight. I ain't gonna lie. I know I said that I wasn't as in on Holloway and Poirier. I'd be down for that fight. Ilya and Poirier.
Fair. Another rumor that we have could be. Wait, no, 5 years ago. Just kidding. That was when the last one happened between that. Anyway, Joe Pyfer pulled out. So this past weekend, Jeff Neal pulls out of the Carlos Prates fight that was going to take place next week, right? At the on the Miami card, yeah.
Oh, correct.
And then it was so Dana popped up this past weekend and announced that the new replacement for Jeff Neal and the fight is now moved to the main event for Kansas City because the main event for Kansas City was Khalil Roundtree and Jamal Hill, and that fell out. So it's now Carlos Prates and Ian Gary for Kansas City main event. What a switch around we had, dude. But holy shit, what a fight. And me and you kind of been chatting back and forth just a little bit. This is going to be a fun one, dude. I know you're already, maybe kind of gave me your pick. I already kind of gave you my pick. But yeah, dude, this is April 26th. And today is what, April 2nd? This is 3 weeks away, man. How much time? How much time does Ian Gary have to train for Carlos Prates? We know Carlos Prates was already, getting ready to fight because he was going to fight this upcoming weekend. Or next weekend. So what's Ian Gary going to look like on, a 3-week training camp about? And what's your immediate thoughts on this fight, man?
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I was really surprised. I mean, at first I thought it was April Fool's until I heard it come out of Dana's mouth that it was going to happen, and seeing that this is the fight. I mean, for me, I really wish that. I mean, not saying wish. I mean, I like Ian Gary. He's not like my favorite fighter, but I do like Ian Gary. Just for him, as far as his development in his career. I mean, one thing I'll give him credit for is that he's always willing to take on anybody. Like anybody.
Both these fights short notice. Shavkat and Prates,
Yeah, anybody, anytime, anywhere. Like that is Ian Gary. So I don't think anybody could give him any slack for that. But I think just in terms of, man, you're going in here against a heavy hitter who is on a roll right now. And I mean, you're coming in on short notice, as you said. Is he probably training to some extent? Sure. But is he probably in fighting shape? I can't imagine. And you're coming into a fight with a guy like Carlos Prates, as dangerous as he is. It should be a good fight. But man, it's a tough fight for Gary, man. It really is. But it's a good step up for Carlos Prates as well, because if he's able to beat Ian Gary, I think there's a chance Carlos Prates moves right to the front of the line. It might be your next title challenger. I wouldn't even put it past the UFC to do that.
Cool. I want to interrupt the fight news briefly to let D-Rose know both my shits cash, D-Rose. So both them shits right now cash. Fuck yeah. Shout out the Washington Wizards. They might be ass, but they cash my parlays every fucking night. So thank you, Washington Wizards. I got money to bet with this weekend. So hell yeah. With that being said, back to it. plus 905 and a plus 196. Cash both them shits. So that's cool. Anyway, moving on, D-Rose. In other fight news, we have this one, dude. This is going to be an absolute banger. The issue is, I don't know when it is, but I do know that I think it's getting talked about, like, and it's being signed, because they're kind of going back and forth a little bit. If this does happen, what do you think about it, man?
I mean, that's a good fight. That's a really good fight. And I mean, that's a dangerous fight for Zellhuber too, because I mean, we know how fast Michael Johnson's hands are. And as you saw in his last fight, I mean, he's still got the hand speed. He can still knock guys out. And we've seen Zellhuber get lit up plenty of times. Brivovich and Trey Ogden, and he has been hit plenty of times. He's not unchinnable. So yeah, a guy like Michael Johnson, that's a dangerous fight. Would I bet Michael Johnson? No, because he's the most inconsistent right there next to my boy Cody Brundage as far as betting on. But just in terms of, do I think Johnson's probably going to be the underdog, but I think he'll be a live dog.
Yeah. He'll honestly probably be like plus 350, man. That wouldn't surprise me one bit.
He'll be live though.
Yeah. Anyway, we talked about that. Here we go. We got. Oh no. You think this fight happens, or you think something else gets put together? Anyway, International Fight Week, UFC 317, Paulo Costa, Roman Kapilov.
I don't think it happens just because it's Paulo Costa. But
yeah,
I mean, that would be a fun fight if it were to happen, though. I mean, that'd be, I could see that'd be a matchup that Costa would take. Dude, just because it's gonna be a striking affair.
They're just gonna stand in the middle and just kick each other in the body.
yeah, no, exactly. And then Paulo Costa's gonna like slap his abs and like, hey, come on.
And then they're a spinning hook kick.
Yeah.
Anyway, dude, I hated April Fools yesterday because I kept seeing all this shit, but I didn't fall for it. Anyway, back to their news. We got Dominic Reyes versus Nikita Krylov, UFC 314, April 12th. So in Miami, dude, what's your thoughts on that?
Reyes is kind of getting the proper. He's almost getting the treatment like I wish sometimes other fighters would, and maybe like a Steve Erceg to a point, to where, Reyes has came back. He's fought like lesser competition, and he's gotten, pretty good wins, and they're leveling him up just a little bit each and every time. So they're letting his level of competition get a little bit better. He's going out there and, he's finishing guys, and he's looking better each fight. And I think this is the proper matchmaking for him to see if he can maybe work himself back into that title picture, because man, I'm sorry. This division, outside of Alex Pereira, it lacks a lot of juice for the most part. And I do think that Dominic Reyes, he can bring a fun style. So if he can get that proper matchmaking back up to the top, it could be good for the division overall, just as far as getting a fresh contender back there.
Yeah. His chin just worries me because he could be cracked at damn near any time. Anyway, UFC 316, we got Shabdul or I'm sorry. Yeah. I don't know why I said Shabdul. I think I was thinking of Shabdul. What was his name?
The
Abdurrahimov?
Russian dude. I know you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Kind of looks like him, but no, it's Shamil Gaziev, the Blob. He's going to be taking on Sergey Spivak. This is going to be UFC 316 in Newark, the same card that Sugar Sean O'Malley versus Marab will be headlining. What's your thoughts on this one, man?
That will probably be if Gaziev doesn't get a big knockout like in the first probably 2-3 minutes, that will be your PBF right there.
Yeah,
Or
dude,
I
can
mean,
see that.
Spivak might get a sub, but other than that, gosh, I cannot imagine any type of excitement coming from the fight whatsoever. Like at
Anyway,
all.
this will probably be headlining the Atlanta card. That's my guess. So, Antoine, this could be your main event in Atlanta, dude. Jelton Almeida taking on Alexander Volkov, dude. This should be an interesting fight, man, because this is new Volkov, and this is Jelton that's been shown that he can lose, man. So, what's your immediate thoughts here?
Yeah, I think it's a fun fight. Good matchup. Just in terms of the styles and everything. And I think if Volkov hasn't shown the best at takedown defense, he has against guys like like Gon and stuff like that. But against like a Curtis Blades and Tom Aspinall and stuff, he has been taken down. So that is the path of victory for Jelton Almeida. But for Volkov, if he's able to stuff the takedown, man, I mean, I'm a fan of Volkov, and I know how dangerous he is. And he's gotten, I swear he's still getting bigger. Like he must be like drinking his milk and eating his spinach and stuff like that. Because I'm like, I swear, like he's still growing. Like I don't know what he's doing, but he's still growing.
Vodka.
Yeah, yeah, he's getting bigger, dude. Like I don't know what it is. So if he keeps getting any bigger, like dude, he's gonna have to like make like a major cut to get to 265. But good matchmaking here.
Yeah, dude, I'll be excited for that one. This is rebooked, D-Rose. This is going to be rebooked to the main event for UFC Azerbaijan in June 21st. So Jamal Hill pulls out with some sort of knee injury, but he'll be ready in 2 months, I guess. So they're going to rebook this fight. Dude, I'm not the biggest Jamal Hill fan, but at this point, I don't know how anyone is, dude. It's just like it is. I just feel like he's not in shape, and I don't know. Once he became the champion, he was just like, okay, my job here is done. I can just be fat and lazy now and just go fight whenever I want to. Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I can understand what you're saying to a certain extent. I love the matchmaking, but man, they are very determined to make this match happen. Like there's one way or the other. Like they are moving this fight to other cards. Like they are like this is the third or fourth time. I mean, is this going to become Tony versus Habib all over again? Like we're going to see like 5 or 6 different matchups, and they're all not going to happen. Like I'm just waiting at this point in time. I did feel like because I think they were supposed to fight this month, correct? Like it was supposed to be the St. Louis card or the Missouri card, whichever one it was.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I did feel like that was a pretty quick turnaround for Jamal Hill because he did just fight in January and he had a banger of a fight against Yuri. And he ended up getting knocked out in that fight too. So I thought that was a quick turnaround. So April, I know 2 more months isn't that terrible, but I think that's a proper turnaround for Jamal Hill and for what he's going to take on in a dangerous opponent like Khalil.
But if he just got injured, like, is that enough time to heal your injury though and train? Like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I mean, maybe he just wants to make sure that at this point, he wants to make sure that he's good because he's on a 2-fight losing streak, getting knocked out both times. Hey, if he loses the third fight, it's not a death knell, but it's going to be really hard to climb back.
Yeah, man. I agree. And then let's do UFC. And then I think this is the one that they announced for sure. Yep. Here we go. Yep. Saturday, June 7th. That's for sure. UFC 316, Deros. It's official. I know I see a lot of hate on it, man.
It's a lot of hate because it's like I think people thought that Peter Yan was going to get it because Peter Yan, he's won a few fights in a row versus Sean coming off the loss against Merab. I mean, me personally, I get it. I mean, I'm not the biggest fan of the fight either. I'll be honest. I just think just because Sean O'Malley had just had it, and to me too, you want to put O'Malley in the title fight because he's a big star. He's an American star. They want to make sure the American stars sell the pay-per-views, things like that. I understand that part. I almost feel like it would be better for O'Malley what would have been bad about if he had a fight, maybe like a Davison Figueiredo or, something like that. I think something like a matchup that he could potentially win because I would pick Sean O'Malley to beat Figgy. Or like a Jose Aldo. Like I think at this point, Sean O'Malley would be a pretty significant favorite against Jose Aldo. Give him a fight like that, because I think once you take him up against Merab again and then he loses the title fight again, then you're going to start getting that, man, I don't really want to watch. Not saying you're not going to watch O'Malley anymore, but like, damn, he's already, lost 2 in a row. He's lost the title fight both times. Then it's going to be hard for them to get a route back to the belt. I don't know. For me, I would personally like to see Sean O'Malley take just one step before getting back to that title fight. But I also understand that he's the biggest star in the division. And really, it's what Merab wants. Because at this point, the UFC is listening to him. And Merab called him out. So, once the champ starts to kind of earn the UFC's respect to a certain extent, they can kind of have a little wiggle room in terms of call. And it is what Merab wants. So, and they're going to go ahead and ride with it.
Yeah, that'll be Antoine's birthday, June 7th. So he's going to roll from his birthday into the main event. That's what's up, brother. Shout out Antoine. That's cool.
Hell yeah.
You got any more news or anything, man? Or you want to get into the fights for this weekend?
No, man. We can get into the fights.
All right. You want to do it like last week? You got your Tapology out there, Rose?
Let's do it.
All right, here we go. So I'll break it down first, and then we'll get into the picks and all that. So let me not do the volume because you guys will get commercials. With that being said, are we sharing? Indeed, we are. So this weekend, Saturday, April 5th, prelims are going to start at 6 p.m. East Coast time. So sucks that we got an Apex card that the prelims don't come on until 6 p.m. So it is what it is. Going to be taking place at the Apex in Vegas, of course. 13 fights on the card. It is going to be headlined by Josh Emmett taking on the Miracle, Lerone Murphy. We've got Joe Anderson, Tuberal Burrito, taking on Pat Sabatini. I forgot his fight name off the top of my head. Anyway, we got Cortavius Ramius taking on Chang Ho Lee. We've got the African Savage, Kennedy and Zechiku, taking on Martin Baddies Budai, dude. We got GM3, Gerald Mearshart, taking on Brad Tavares. We've got Robert Valentine from The Ultimate Fighter. He's going to be taking on the Punisher, Torres Finney. We've got Luis Grullier taking on O'Day Osborne. David, it is David Grant. Anyway, Dangerous Davey Grant taking on Daniel Santos. We got Diani Barboza taking on Diana Belbita. We've got Reese McKee taking on Daniel Frunza. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. Anyway, we got Victor Henry taking on Pedro Falcao. Vanessa Demopoulos, the stripper, taking on Talita Alencar. And Loma Lukbumi taking on the returning Estela Nunez. Dude, we haven't seen her since she got her arm broken by Victoria Dudakova or the staff hole, if you guys remember that fight. A couple fights did fall off this card. Giga Chikadze versus David Onama and Loma Lukbumi versus Ariane Carnilosi. That was going to be on here. Probably a much more competitive fight. So with that being said, D-Rose, I am going to share this screen instead and make my picks because I haven't done so yet this week. So that's what's up.
We'll do it together.
Okay, close enough, Antoine. Gross D-Rose, just realized you're wearing a cowgirl hoodie.
Damn right. Even though I shouldn't. The hell, they embarrass me all the time, but for some reason I still hold them down.
Yeah. All right. Anyway, share. Anyway, what's your thoughts on the card as a whole, D-Rose? Do you like any fun spots, or are there any spots you got your eye on to maybe make some money on this weekend?
Yeah, no, I mean, I think it's a solid card overall. I mean, me personally, I mean, it's not my favorite. I mean, the last couple of weeks they have delivered, so hey, you deserve to miss every once in a while. Looking at the card, am I going to watch? Obviously, man, I don't know if I'm super confident in terms of some of these, but man, we'll get into some of the dogs, because I think there's a couple of dogs on here that I think you'll be surprised that I'm going with.
Me, Antoine, I give this card let's go 6.5. Not the best card, but there are some spots that I do like, that I would like to put some money on this weekend. So let's get into it. We got the first fight of the night. We've got Loma Lookboonmee taking on Estela Nunez. Loma Lookboonmee is 9-3 overall out of her last 5 fights. She has won 4 of them, lost 1. She is 29 years old, 5'1", and a 61.5-inch reach. She is also training at Syndicate MMA, so no longer at Bang Tao, D-Rose. So training over with John Wood, where Marab trains, Aljo trains and shit at now. So, maybe she's been working on her wrestling a little bit. On the other end, Estela Nunez is 6-5 overall out of her last 5 fights. She has won 1 of them and lost 4 of them. And we haven't seen her in a year and 8 months when we saw her break her arm against Victoria Dudakova. She's 30 years old, 5'4", 66-inch reach, and trains at American Top Team. And basically, truly how I expect this fight to go is round 1 to be a striking match. I expect Loma Lookboonmee to maybe, stay back a little bit, because Estela Nunez, round 1, that is her most dangerous round. She does have power in the first round, but outside of that, she kind of gasses, and she kind of is ready to pack it up once it goes to like 6.5 minutes in the fight. So with that being said, with Loma training with John Wood, I expect them to have a solid game plan. Maybe just play the first round safe. Don't get tagged up too much. Maybe try to keep it close, and then maybe try to implement your takedowns and stuff. Maybe like round 2, maybe even, get some ground and pound, wrap up a neck. So with that being said, my pick for this fight will be Loma Lookboonmee to win this fight via 3rd round submission. What about you, D-Rose?
Yeah, well, and I'll say too that Loma Lookboonmee, I mean, she's pretty well rounded for the most part, and I mean, honestly, her striking looks just as good as her wrestling does from time to time as well. And as you said, Estela Nunez, she really doesn't have the best gas tank for the most part, and I do think that Loma's pretty well rounded, and Estela Nunez does have a history of getting finished. So I personally like Loma Lookboonmee. I like her by knockout. I think she might get I think she might rock her on the feet, or I think she might get some ground and pound in. But give me Loma Lookboonmee by knockout.
All right, me and D-Rose both on Loma Lookboonmee. I should have told you guys the odds for this fight. The odds for this fight are now -800 for Loma Lookboonmee, +550 for Estela Nunez, dude. Jesus Christ. I mean, you kind of have to pick a prop, right? So, I mean, D-Rose likes her by knockout. I like her by submission. You take her by finish, probably not the worst odds in the world. This fight to go under 2.5 rounds is +210. Over 2.5 rounds is -280. So the under, probably not the worst play ever, because if Estela does win, it'll be by round 1 knockout.
Yeah, no, I agree.
All right. So me and D-Rose both on Loma Lookboonmee. I'm on submission, D-Rose on knockout. So up next, we have Vanessa Lil Monster Demopoulos taking on the problem child, Talitha Alencar. Vanessa Demopoulos is 11-6 overall out of her last 5 fights. She has won 3 and lost 2. And, she does good fighting in Vegas, being a stripper, D-Rose. It's almost like she has dirt on all the judges or something. She's like, pick me or I'm going to tell your wife. And that's how she wins her fights. Anyway, she is 36 years old, 5'2", and a 59.5-inch reach. Trains at Fight Ready. While Talitha Alencar, 5-1-1 overall out of her last 5 fights. She has won 3 of them, 1 draw, and 1 loss. She's 34 years old, 5'1" and a 58.5-inch reach. So Vanessa Demopoulos will actually be the bigger girl here, D-Rose, as crazy as that sounds. But odds for this fight are currently minus 110 apiece. Over under is 2.5. Over is minus 455. Under is plus 310. Yeah, I think this fight goes exactly like Vanessa Demopoulos' last fight. I think Talita Alikar is basically the same fighter that Jacqueline Amorim is. Maybe just not as good, but we saw her beat big-ass Stephanie Luciano before the Contender Series.
It was a draw, right?
Yeah. Unanimous. Yeah, this one. So she has a solid 2 rounds in her, dude. If she gets Vanessa down anything like Jackie did in her last fight, dude, I think she subs Vanessa round 1. So with that being said, I think I am going to go Talita Alikar to win this fight by submission in the first round. How about you, D-Rose?
Yeah. I mean, I think this fight, again, if there's one that we're going to call for a PBF, this is going to be it. I don't mean to be rude to a certain extent, but this one is going to be I think it's going to be kind of a slot fest in terms of, how the wrestling is going to go and everything. Talita Alikar kind of showed me, though, that, like, if she doesn't get the takedown herself, she doesn't really have too much, because Stephanie Luciano kind of just played on the outside the whole time, and Talita Alikar had no answer for that. And I think Vanessa Demopoulos does have a little bit more UFC experience, man. I'm not absolutely sold on Talita Alikar. I don't think Demopoulos is that great either, but I do think her level of competition is a little bit better at this point, and she is gritty. That's what, if there's one thing I can't give her. Once the fight kind of gets brought to her, she doesn't back down. Give me Vanessa Demopoulos by decision. Not super confident, but I will go with that, because I can't pull the trigger on Talita Alikar.
All right. I mean, I don't hate it. I mean, it's minus 110 apiece. Makes sense. It wouldn't surprise me if I'm wrong. It is women's MMA, and both ladies aren't the best. And Antoine, the wild part is Estella was going to fight Molly last weekend, or 2 weeks ago now, but she was having visa issues and couldn't get into London. So that's why she gets Loma this week. First time his Gentleman's Club was at 17. Oh, wow. I don't want to talk about my first time. That was not fun. That was not fun. Dave was on Little Monster via points. Anyway, next fight of the night, we've got Victor Henry taking on Pedro Falcao. Victor Henry is 24-7-0 out of his last 5 fights. He has 1-2, lost 2, and a kick in the nuts. 37 years old, 5'7", and a 68-inch reach, while Pedro Falcao is 16-4 out of his last 5 fights, 1-4, lost 1. He is 32 years old, 5'6", and a 66-inch reach. He's had 1 fight in the UFC, lost to Victor Hugo via decision. And truly, the way I see this fight is just Victor Henry to just be the better all-around fighter. He's a vet at this point, and I just expect him to just outclass Pedro Falcao in every single moment of the fight, whether it's wrestling or striking. So I'm going Victor Henry via decision. Odds for this fight are minus 218 Victor Henry, Pedro Falcao plus 180. Over under is 2.5. The over is minus 298. The under is plus 220. I'm on Victor Henry via decision. D-Rose, how about you, man?
Yeah, I mean, I think you broke it down pretty well for the most part, and I think, the big thing for me, for Victor Henry, I know he's a little bit older, but he is pretty well-rounded for the most part. He has a good IQ, good takedown defense, pretty good striking, got a crisp 1-2, good head kicks, pretty well-rounded, good offensive wrestling as well. Now, I think, for Falco, he's going to be looking to try to get the fight down to the ground. That's going to be his game plan for the most part. And I think if you're going to go in there being pretty one-dimensional for the most part, I think Victor Henry is going to be able to figure it out. Now, he did get subbed by Charles Jourdain in his last fight, but to be fair, I don't know if he was necessarily ready for that guillotine that Charles Jourdain has, but Charles Jourdain has a nasty guillotine for those who don't know. And I think Victor Henry got kind of caught up in that. but I think he'll be ready for Pedro Falco's takedown attempts. I think it's going to be kind of a slower fight, but I do think Victor Henry by decision is the way to go.
All right. Me and D-Rose both on Victor Henry by decision. Antoine said another 37-year-old bantamweight. Love to see that, man. Never give up on your dreams. The checks are too good to let go. Indeed, indeed. So we'll move on to the next fight. That is Reese McKee taking on Daniel Frunza. Skeletor Reese McKee is 13-6-1 overall, 29 years old, 6'2" and a 78-inch reach. Out of his last 5 fights, he has won 3 and lost 2. He's lost his last 2. A split decision versus Chidi Njokwani and a decision against Ange Lusa. On the other end, Daniel Frunza is 9-2 overall, won all 5 of his last 5 fights from Romania or Italy. One of those. 30 years old, 6'1" and a 73-inch reach. I got to be honest, Rose, haven't found anything on Daniel Frunza yet, not even a snippet or a clip of how he fights like. So just checking ground and pound round 1. Yeah, it looks like he's getting these dudes out there pretty early. But he's fighting Reese McKee, that is a long, tall dude, 6'2" versus 6. I mean, shit, dude. I don't think Reese McKee's good. I don't know nothing about Daniel Frunza, and I'm going to pick him to win. Currently odds for this fight, plus 130. Oh, well, he's the favorite, though. So I guess odds for the fight, plus 130. Daniel Frunza, minus 155. Over, under is 2.5. Over is plus 105. The under is minus 135. Yeah, I guess I'll pick Daniel Frunza just because I don't think Reese McKee is good, dude. But no reason other than that. How about you?
Yeah, honestly, I'm with you as far as I don't think Reese McKee's that good, but I don't know enough about Daniel Frunza, to be honest.
Yeah.
I mean, I didn't really see too much on him, myself as well, but, I saw, where he had gotten a lot of finishes. Reese McKee is a guy that, he can go the distance for the most part. I mean, and he's had like a pretty tough level of competition. Like, I believe what he fought, it was Hamzat, Alex Morono, he's fought Chidi Njokwani. So like he's fought some tough guys in the UFC. Like he fought in the UFC before those 3 wins.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then he got the 3 wins in a row. But
Yeah.
I believe it's Alex Morono and Hamzat that he had fought. Lost those 2. Like, hey, it is what it is there. I think Reese McKee at least won't get finished. I think as long as he can last out the first round, man. Reese McKee, the bigger guy, using his wrestling a little bit more. I like Reese McKee by decision here, man. So give me Reese McKee getting his first UFC win. I think it'll probably be a boring fight, similar to that Chitty fight. I think it'll be some cage fighting, wrestling, but give me Reese McKee by decision.
All right, that's our second different pick of the night. I'm on Frunza, round 1 KO. You are on Reese McKee via decision. Next fight of the night, we've got Diani the Witch Barbosa taking on the Warrior Princess Diana Belbita. Anyway, Diani Barbosa, 7-3 overall. Out of her last 5 fights, she has won 4 and lost 1 to Miranda Maverick. She is 32 years old, 5'6" and a 66-inch reach, while the Warrior Princess Diana Belbita is 15-9 overall. Out of her last 5 fights, she has lost 3 and won 2. Last loss to Molly McCann via armbar. Think about that. She's 28 years old, 5'7" and a 68-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight are minus 1,000 for Diani Barbosa and plus 650 for Diana Belbita. That's as far as I need to go. I'm going to pick Diani the Witch Barbosa to win this fight via. Do I do decision or submission? I don't know if she even has any submissions, dude. Yeah,
she's got 3 submissions.
All right, submission. Let's go round. Let's go round 2. Diani Barbosa, round 2 submission for me. How about you, D-Rose?
Yeah, I won't even stall on this one. I don't think that Barbosa should be that big of a favorite, but I do think that Belbita is also not good either. So I understand why she's as big of a favorite as she is. I'm not putting any money on this because I don't trust her whatsoever. I mean, Diani Barbosa is 7-3, so let's not act like she's Amanda Nunes over here. But give me Diani Barbosa by submission, round 2.
All right. Looks like me and you are on the exact same thing. All right. Antoine's picking Reese, just like you, D-Rose.
Yep.
And then
Building UFC experience and championship experience. I do like that point from Antoine as well.
Yeah. Moving on, we've got Dangerous Davy Grant taking on Willie Cat Daniel Santos. Davy Grant is 14-7 overall, 39 years old, 5'8" and a 69-inch reach, while Willie Cat Daniel Santos 11-2 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, won 4 of them, lost 2. Has a win over Johnny Munoz and John Castaneda, both pretty solid fighters. Willie Cat's 30 years old, 5'7" and a 67-inch reach, and another one of these Diet Charles Oliveira's. Comes in, fights just like Charles Oliveira, blonde hair, front kicks, and hooks, man. That's Willie Cat. With that being said, Dangerous Davy Grant is a tough fighter, and this shoot box style, dude, these dudes do get hit, but it's usually by like straight punches, not too many hooks, and that's what Davy Grant's going to be throwing. He's like winging hooks. So with that being said, give me Willie Cat to win this fight. I'm going to go 3 or decision, D-Rose, but I'm going to pick decision for this because I don't know. Something about that third round. I feel like Davy Grant's a little bit older now, dude. You know, who knows? Who knows? So Willie Cat, Daniel Santos for me via decision. How about you, D-Rose?
Now, this fight I think is going to be a fun one. You know how I am with Davy Grant. Love me some Davy Grant over there. Hey, I did hold back a yawn earlier. I ain't gonna lie, but hey, we rocking. But hey, I had to actually go to work today, even though I wasn't supposed to be at work today. So I'm a little bit worn out.
Selling some Kias.
Yeah. Well, this was a Ford, but we still working on the Kias though. I'm actually working on the Kia deal now that you're saying that. But you know,
also odds here: Davy Grant plus 130, Willie Cat Daniel Santos minus 155. Sorry.
No, you're good. You know, I love me some Davy Grant. Dude comes and absolutely bangs every time. Left hook Larry over there. You know, he's absolutely winging them left hooks and getting dudes out of there. It's gritty as can be. And Daniel Santos, as you said, that shooting box style, you know, the Charles Oliveira type style. So I think this is going to be a really fun fight. What I want to see from Daniel Santos is if he can actually hurt Davy Grant, because man, Davy Grant is just not an easy guy to hurt. Man, for me, I love Davy Grant, man. Dude's got grit. I think he gets it done. I'm going Davy Grant here. I think he's got a little bit more of a dog in him, and I think to me, in his last fight against Ramon Tavares, I didn't think he really lost a step at all. I mean, I thought he still looked quick. Hands were fast. Leg kicks, absolutely dynamite. You know, them little teep kicks that he throws are good as well. I think as long as he can stuff the takedowns, keep it at his range, I think Davy Grant still got the speed, man. I think he can get it done. So give me Davy Grant by decision.
All right. Split again. Third different pick of the night. I am on Daniel Santos, D-Rose on Dangerous Davy Grant. Up next, we have Grim Louis Groulet taking on the Jamaican sensation, O'Day Osborne. Lucas Groulet is 10-0, undefeated out of his last 5 fights, obviously 5-0. He has a split decision win over Nick Piccinini on the Contender Series. That was a pretty much All-American wrestler that they were like hyping up so much about how good he was, and then Nick Piccinini outworks him and wins via split decision. Anyway, he is 31 years old, 5'5" and a 64-inch reach. On the other hand, the Jamaican sensation O'Day Osborne is 12-8-0. Out of his last 5 fights, he has 4 losses and 1 win. His only win is over Charles Johnson via split decision, and that fight was weird because that fight took like 35 minutes for a 3-round fight because all the nut kicks and everything that happened in that fight. Anyway, O'Day Osborne, 33 years old, 5'7" and a 73-inch reach. Yeah, I am not impressed by Louis Groulet, D-Rose. His striking is very stiff. He's not fast. He's going to try to get you down and just hold you down, but that's basically it, man. It's like he has power if he can hit you, but man, aside from Tyson Nam, not many people's like sleeping Ode Osborne. You know, we got like we saw like Manel Kopp do it and fucking Tyson Nam do it. And then that's basically it, dude. So as crazy as it sounds, man, with the odds currently plus 220 Ode Osborne, Louis Groulet minus 270. I'm going to take Ode Osborne to win this fight via decision, man. I think he outworks the undefeated UFC newcomer and wins this fight via decision. Ode's on a 3-fight losing streak, dude. He needs to get a win here. And this is the perfect person to do it against. Just stop the takedowns, outwork him, man. Ode Osborne via decision for me. How about you, man?
Yeah, I'm actually surprised. I'm usually the one picking Ode, and you're usually the one picking against him. But interesting to see you ride with Ode here. I do think this is a good matchup. I do think this is, if there's a matchup that's going to get Ode back into it, I think this is going to be it. But I do think Louis Garul, I can't remember what it is. But yeah, I think he's tough. You know, and as you said, that Piccanini fight, you know, and that was the perfect word you used for it, was outworked, because I remember DC was giving Piccanini like the most sloppiest of toppies, like, you know, when he was, you know, talking about him on the broadcast, like, this dude's just an absolute animal in the wrestling. And yeah, Louis Garul just outworked him, just you know, beat him in the wrestling department, beat him in the striking department. And honestly, I didn't really think he got a chance to let his hands go like he wanted, just because Piccanini just kept diving for the legs, that Garul really just had to kind of outwork him on the ground for the most part and turn it into a scramble fest. I think that's where Ode Osborne can get caught up, because if it's on the feet, you know, even as you saw in that Ronaldo Rodriguez fight that I thought that Ode Osborne won, Ronaldo Rodriguez was still able to get the fight down to the ground kind of when he wanted to, or when he needed to secure that fight. And that has been Ode's Achilles heel for the most part. So I think Louis Garul gets it done here. I think it's a gritty fight. I think it's by decision, though. I think maybe Ode gets a round in there with his striking, maybe round 1, but I think rounds 2 and 3, I think Garul wears it on him with the wrestling and gets it done by decision.
All right. Me and Dero split for the 4th time tonight. I'm on Ode Osborne. D Rose is on Louis Groulet. Up next, we got a fun fight. We have Robzilla Valentine taking on Torres, the Punisher Finney. Fun fight, man. Here we go. Robert Valentine, 10-4 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he has won 3. 1 is a disqualification, and he lost the ground and pound against Ryan Loder on the Ultimate Fighter finale 7 months ago. 30 years old, 6'2", and a 77-inch reach, while the Punisher Torres Finney is 10-0, undefeated. Obviously, he did fight 3 times on the Contender Series, won all 3 times, 1 via knockout, 1 via submission, and 1 via decision. He is 26 years old, 5'8", and he fights out of Agogi Combatives with Trevor Peak, D-Rose. Odds for this fight, minus 310 Torres Finney, plus 250 for Robert Valentine, dude. And do you remember how I was talking about Robert Valentine coming off the Ultimate Fighter?
Yeah, you're like, this dude's an absolute killer, destruction warrior.
He's basically Yuri Prochazka, not as polished, dude. They had the same fight style, dude. And I think that fight style for anyone, dude, is a fucking struggle. It's chaos. If you don't know what to do, you're going to get fucked up, dude. And I know a lot of people are picking Torres Finney this week. I know a lot of people are on the Finney train, but I think a lot of people are going to get let down this weekend, because you don't fight on the Contender Series 3 times for no reason. If Dana wants you in the UFC, he usually signs you on that first time, or maybe might bring you back 1 more time, dude. He don't bring you on there 3 times and be like, all right, I guess you can come in now. To be honest, man, I don't think Torres is that great of a fighter. He's a 5'8" middleweight, dude. I mean, it's not Deron Wynn, but it's not far off. So with that being said, give me Robert Valentine to win this fight via 2nd round knockout, upset the undefeated Torres Finney. Which way are you going here, man?
Yeah, I can see why you would go that way. I do think Torres Finney is a little bit unproven. I mean, but I will say that for Torres Finney having the fight on the Contender Series 3 times. I will say he got it done 3 different ways. He got it done by decision, he got it done by knockout, and he got it done by submission. So, I mean, he got it done each way. I know the first 2 weren't as eventful fights, so he had to have kind of that nasty that I think it was like some ground and pound in the last one. So was able to finally secure a spot.
Yeah. Think about that, D-Rose. Think about that for just 1 second. Dana White signed Jose Medina after his Contender Series fight, after getting the shit beat out of him for all 3 rounds. Signed him after that one night. And it took Torres Finney to get 3 wins on the Contender Series to get signed to the UFC. And he signed the dude off a loss.
But I also don't necessarily think that's a bad thing because, I mean, there are guys that they sign, and they sign them to developmental contracts. So, like, Torres Finney is 10-0 right now. I mean, he's not the most experienced fighter. So, I mean, maybe it's not necessarily a bad thing that he got good competition against, or decent competition against decent fighters at, what is the UFC level in front of Dana to say, like, hey, this dude, he's fought 3 times in front of you. Can he get an opportunity now, please? And, he has shown, again, that's why I wanted to mention that he got it done in 3 different ways. He got submission, decision, knockout. So, how else could you ask him to do it? And I think Valentine can get hit a little bit as well. As you said, he fights at that Yuri style. I think Finney gets the takedown, gets the ground and pound working. I say round 2 TKO for Torres Finney.
All right. Me and D-Rose split again. We split on this whole card, D-Rose.
I'll say we are all over the place with one another. This is great.
Robzilla, baby. Robzilla getting it done this week.
I know that's your guy.
All right. Moving on. We have GM3, Gerald Mearshart, taking on Brad Tavares. So GM3 is 37-18. Out of his last 5 fights, he has lost 3 and won 2. He is 37 years old, 6'1" and a 77.5-inch reach. Brad Tavares 20-10 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, he has won 1 and lost 4. Also 37 years old, 6'1", 74-inch reach. We got a good matchup here, but if I'm going to be honest, I'm spending no time here. Brad Tavares wins this fight via decision because GM3 can't get Brad Tavares down to the ground, and he just gets boxed up all 3 rounds. What's your thoughts here, D-Rose?
Yeah, I think I'm going to be with you here. I'm not even going to beat around the bush. For me, I think it goes back to, for GM3, I was big on GM3 beating Krzysztof Jotko, and he let Krzysztof Jotko just jab him up and dance around on the outside for all 3 rounds. I know Tavares is a little bit older at this point, but he even showed in that Dricus fight that he's hard to take down. Still got good power, so I think in Gerald Mearshart, he's aware of that, so he's not going to go diving in there. And I think it's going to be kind of some desperate takedowns that Tavares is going to be able to see from the outside stuff and keep him moving. So give me Brad Tavares by decision.
All right. Back to the same picks. Anyway, up next, we do have a fun one, man. We've got the African Savage, Kennedy and Nzechukwu versus Martin Baddies Budai. Kennedy is 14-5 overall, 32 years old, 6'5" and an 83-inch reach, while Martin Budai is 14-2. Out of his last 5 fights, won 4, lost 1. He is 33 years old, 6'4", 77-inch reach. And we haven't seen him in a little bit since he won over Andrei Arlovsky. But he's only lost 1 time in the UFC, and that is to Shamil Gaziev. And the blob's a lot to handle in the first round if you're not ready for it. On the other hand, Kennedy down to light heavyweight, dude, getting snoozed by Dustin Jacoby was a terrible look. And then this one was the one that that fight, dude, where he lost to OSP. Dude, I guess he did knock out Lucas Dretsky 3 months ago. This one I don't really look into too much because, he could have got hit by that wheel kick, that same one that, pulled Chris Barnett's hamstring. So with that being said, D-Rose, I don't trust Kennedy. I just don't. Even though he's a heavyweight, I trust him as much as I trust Ryan Spann at heavyweight, and that's still not at all. So Odds for this fight are Kennedy minus 360, Martin Budai plus 285. Give me Martin Budai to win this fight via decision. I'm gonna let you break it down. I gotta run and grab something else to drink. My throat's real dry and the pollens are real bad here. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I think this fight here, this one's I'm not gonna lie, this one's a tough one to call because I am with you as far as Kennedy. He hasn't been the most reliable in terms of, if you were to put some money on him. And because I actually picked Kennedy and ZHQ, and I think I might have had by submission against Dustin Jacoby, and he got smoked the way he did. Yeah, I was not happy about that one. And I did stay away from him from that OSP fight after he lost to Dustin Jacoby, and thank goodness I did. But I think for Martin Budai, honestly, he is, for me, a poor man's Mick Parkin, which is not good because Mick Parkin, he's solid everywhere. And like Martin Budai is okay everywhere. Like he's an okay grappler, okay striker. He possesses no danger, in my opinion. I think where you can get Kennedy is if you possess some type of danger, whether it be power in your hands, if you got wrestling, but especially if you have some type of power, Kennedy can get caught. But I think if you don't really possess that type of thing, and I think Kennedy's going to have the speed advantage over Martin Budai as well, I just don't know what Martin Budai is going to be able to do to get the job done. I just don't think there's any danger there that's really going to put Kennedy out of there. So give me a Kennedy here. I think it'll probably be let's go by decision. I was going to say maybe knockout, but nah, I think Kennedy plays it safe. Well, let's go by decision.
All right. Wow. Kind of wild. I forgot to be honest because this could be a cage push, and Martin's going to be the actual heavyweight here. And if it's on the cage, I mean, look, Antoine already said it. The Da Un Jung, dude, he don't even have to land on him. He can just hit his arms, and he might get knocked out. Saw Martin.
Hey, them elbows, they hurt, man. They're like bats.
Yeah, and also shout out Martin Budai. Martin Budai follows me on Instagram, and he always likes my card photos. Me and him chatted back and forth about UFC cards. So shout out Martin Budai. Cool guy. Antoine says, I think Kennedy has a breakout performance in this one. All right. Well, me and D-Rose split on that one again. I'm on Martin Budai via decision. D-Rose is on Kennedy via decision. Up next, we have Cortavius, Are You Not Entertained Ramius, taking on Chang Ho Lee.
What a name.
Dude, his name should be like Cortavius Harry Potter spell Ramius, because that's what it sounds like Cortavius Ramius, and then like you disappear. And he's whoa, I've been floating. Cortavius Ramius, and they start floating in the air like, whoa, what's going on? Are you not entertained? Anyway, Cortavius Ramius, 9-3 overall, 31 years old, 5'4" and a 68-inch reach, while Chang Ho Lee is 10-1 overall. 30 years old, 5'8" and a 69-inch reach. So Chang Ho Lee is coming off of Road to UFC. Has one win, a split decision win at the Road to UFC finale over Zhao Long, as where Cortavius Ramius is coming from Contender Series, where he did have a win over Michael Imperato that was in the UFC a long time ago, and then he lost to Gaston Bolaños via decision. Yeah, dude, for me, I think it's just a fade on Road to UFC fighters because they're not that good. I don't think Cortavius Ramius is the best fighter in the world, but he has some good old American wrestling, and he can get this South Korean down, be able to control him all 3 rounds. Give me Cortavius Ramius to win this fight via decision. I'm pretty sure he's the dog, too. Yeah, currently the dog, plus 105, the underdog. Chang Ho Lee, minus 125. So give me the Harry Potter spell via decision.
I'm not going to lie. I actually thought you were going to go Chang Ho Lee here. So surprising, because honestly, I had a very similar breakdown as you did, man. I thought, Cortavius Ramius, I think he's, very gritty. He's got pretty good striking. I think the problem that he ran into with Gaston Bolaños is that Bolaños was, he was prepared for the wrestling, and I think his striking is much better than obviously where Octavius Ramius is at. Gaston Bolaños had a extensive kickboxing background before jumping into MMA, versus where I know Chang Ho Lee is going to welcome the grappling exchanges, to a certain extent, and try to implement his own. And I don't know if he has the danger of the striking element as Gaston Bolaños does. So I am with you on Octavius Ramius. I think he can win the scrambles here, kind of like how he did in his Contender Series fight as well. Let's go Octavius Ramius by decision.
Wingardium Leviosa. All right. Co-main event time. We have Joe Anderson Brito taking on Pat Sabatini. Tubarão, Joe Anderson Brito, 17-4-1 overall, 30 years old, 5'8" and a 72-inch reach, while Pat Sabatini is 19-5. Out of his last 5 fights, won 3 and lost 2, 34 years old, and a 5'8" and a 70-inch reach. Currently, odds for this fight, minus 230 for Joe Anderson Brito, and Pat Sabatini is plus 190. Yeah, I think Joe Anderson Brito knocks out Pat Sabatini in the first round, D-Rose. This Joe Anderson Brito is like the John Silva before we had John Silva. And, kind of haven't really heard too much from him these past few years. 6 months ago, split decision, lost to William Gomez. All right, fair. But this one right here, dude, when he went shin to shin with Jack Shore and just split his leg open, and the doctor called the fight with a like from a cut on the shin, dude. That's fucking nasty. Choked out JSP with a ninja choke after getting wrestled. He was like, and then choked out JSP, dude. Joe Anderson Brito is a fun fighter. Hell on wheels, dude. Pedal to the metal. And as I said, I think he knocks out Pat Sabatini in the first round. Because Pat Sabatini is... You get front kicked and knocked out by Damon Jackson in the first round, yeah, you get knocked out by anyone. So yeah, Joe Anderson Brito round 1 knockout for me. How about you, D-Rose?
I mean, the one thing that Pat Sabatini can hang his hat on is that his last loss is to the now title challenger Diego Lopez. So I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing to say, but I will say that Joe Anderson Brito, that dude is an absolute powerhouse. I would say very much like a
he actually beat Diego Lopez on the Contender Series a long time ago.
Exactly what I was about to bring it back around to was that Joe Anderson Brito actually beat Diego Lopez. Now it's by decision, so it goes to show how tough Diego Lopez is, but it also goes to show how good Joe Anderson Brito is as well. To beat a guy like that, and I think in very similar fashion, Diego Lopez round 1 knockout. I think Joe Anderson Brito's got the power to get him out of there. Size advantage is going to be a big thing here. Sabatini's clearly a great wrestler, great jiu-jitsu. But, man, if he can't get the fight close to the ground, there's no avenue for me to where he wins the fight. So, give me Joe Anderson Brito landing a big bomb in the first round and getting Sabatini out of there.
Fair enough. Me and D-Rose both on Joe Anderson Brito, round 1 knockout. Main event time. Josh Emmett taking on the Miracle, Lerone Murphy. So CCO, Josh Emmett, 19-4 overall. Out of his last 5 fights, won 3, lost 2. Snoozed Bryce Mitchell a year and 3 months ago. Hadn't done shit since. He is 40 years old, 5'6" and a 70-inch reach, while Miracle, Lerone Murphy, is 15-0, 33 years old, 5'9" and a 73.5-inch reach. We seen him 4 months ago beat Dan Ige via decision, man. And that's the fight that I needed to see before I see this one, because Josh Emmett is a heavy hitter, dude. But let's not pretend like he's not 40 years old and he doesn't move as quick and as fast as he used to, man. I know I've heard him in a lot of interviews this week saying he hasn't felt this good in a while, this and that. He's still 40 years old, man. And he's not going to be out there with the quickness, stalking down Lerone Murphy, being able to explode like the way that he maybe was able to, 3 or 4 years ago. So with that being said, I would rather Josh Emmett win, if I'm going to be completely honest, but I have to pick Lerone Murphy to win via decision. How about you, D-Rose?
Yeah, for me, I think, fun fight here. I love me some Josh Emmett, and I think that, this is good matchmaking here for what could be a good fight. I think the biggest problem for Lerone Murphy has just been that, he's been in the UFC for a while, but I just feel like we haven't seen him fight a lot. Like he's pretty inactive. And, I do think that, obviously he's got some ability, but again, the inactivities have been the big thing. And I think for Josh Emmett, coming off that big knockout against Bryce Mitchell, he also hasn't been in the octagon in a little bit. So it's been a little bit over a year for him as well. He had the 2 losses to Yair and Elia, but I think, he's losing to the top of the guys in the division. I think for Lerone Murphy, undefeated, good fighter, man, he gets hit a lot, dude. That's my big thing. And I think he got dropped by Lerone Murphy. He got dropped by Dan Ige. He also got hurt by Edson Barboza in their fight as well. Man, you cannot play with that type of power when Josh Emmett goes in there. Because, dude, if Josh Emmett lands, as you saw against Bryce Mitchell, or if you watch some of his highlights, you go back to Ricardo Lamos, how he knocked him out. Dude, Josh Emmett lands, he's getting you the hell out of there. Like, there's just no question about it. And I think that if Lerone Murphy goes in there, chin hanging up, man, I think Josh Emmett gets him out of there. And I'm going Josh Emmett here, man. I'm going Josh Emmett round 2 knockout. I like Lerone Murphy, good fighter, man. But I think, you can't play around with that kind of power. I'm going Josh Emmett here.
So there's 13 fights on the card, D-Rose, and we picked different on 7 of them.
Very interesting.
Yeah, you got some picking. There's a few that I don't really like. I don't really like the main event just because I would rather Josh Emmett win, but being smart, I'm just going to pick fucking Murphy to win. If I could pick what would be ours, D-Rose, I would pick Boudet versus Kennedy. I would pick Valentine versus Finney. And then I don't know what the other 3.
I'll do,
because those are 2 big dogs.
We're going to do 3.
That I'm a fan of.
It's a pay-per-view card, or it's not a pay-per-view card. So let's do. Martin, Budai, Kennedy, and Zetsku.
Okay.
I will say Torres Finney makes me a little nervous, but let's go. Let's go Louis Garul and Ode Osborne.
For the third one?
For the second one.
Okay, so we're not doing Finney Valentine. Not doing.
Yeah, we're not doing that one because I'm a little weary on that one. And then the third one here, I'm gonna throw a curveball at you. Let's go Reese McKee and Daniel Franza.
Fuck, dude. I didn't even find nothing on that, dude. You're fucking me this week. All right. It is what it is.
Hey, Reese McKee's the underdog.
So it's a UFC newcomer.
Hey, you got 2 dogs. I got 1 dog at least. I got to take at least 1 dog, but
you can't even give me the dogs I want. You won't even give me Valentine.
Nah, because Torres Finney's small, man. That's the only one that I'm like a little. Size advantage might be a big thing in that fight.
Yeah. Anyway. So 3 different picks this weekend are going to be Daniel Franza, Reese McKee, Ode Osborne versus Louis Garule, and Martin Boudet versus Kennedy and Zechiku for the pick champ for the strap. I've had this a while now. I don't want to lose it, but I'm not confident this week if I have to be honest. Although, before we get to the podcast play of the week, D-Rose, let me share my parlay with you. I don't know what you're going to think about it because I know we probably picked different on all these fights. But why does it do that? There we go. Put this up here. Parlay I have. Come on, you got it. Why is it doing this? Get off. Okay, whatever. There it is. Martin Boudet, 3 or decision at plus 500. Cortavius Ramius, 3 or decision, plus 240. And Joanna Brito, KO 1-2. It's just one of those on there that's not going in your favor, D-Rose, huh? Because you picked the other ones, right?
Yeah, the bottom 2, correct.
Yeah. Not a bad play already. Plus 60-20, $5 to win 306. It's possible. We're going to need a Martin Buday cage push, though. Or if you're on D. Rosa's side, you're going to need a Kennedy and Zechiku cage push. But anyway, that's what I got. Hopefully we can hit that this week. If not, I'll have some more change of cheddar for y'all on Friday, because your boy hit some money tonight thanks to the Wizards. Shout out, Wiz. All right. Anyway, Finney got this, says Antoine. And how do you feel about UFC 320 Guadalajara, Mexico? Isn't it Noche UFC for that? Yeah, that will be Noche for this year in September. I probably won't be going to that one, though. I do not want to go to Mexico. Not really.
You don't want to go down there and drink the water?
No, not really, dude, if I'm going to be honest. Like, Vegas is cool. I'll go to Texas, Arizona. I'd rather not get kidnapped and held for ransom and hostage in Mexico. So, yeah. Preferably. But yeah, that's why I don't plan on going to like Brazil. You know, it's just there's a lot of dangerous countries that the UFC likes to go to, and there's a few of those places where I'm like, I'll pass.
Hey, they gotta get the money from everywhere, man. They gotta get it from everywhere.
So, for the podcast play of the week, D-Rose, what's your most confident pick on the card, man? Because I mean, we're gonna really have to work something out. I don't have anything decided right now.
I figured we could potentially have similar picks here, because I'm going with, honestly, I got two in my head that I figured that we would actually potentially go with together. So I'm going to pull the trigger on one. I'm going to say Brad Tavares, round 3 decision.
I was going to say that.
Well, then I was going to say if so you could take that one, which is what I figured you would do, and I'll take Victor Henry, round 3 decision.
All right.
So because that was
Victor Henry, Brad Tavares, 3 or decision.
And if you put those two together, on FanDuel right now, it's plus 198.
All right, so I'm going to do that right now. Dun, dun.
Yeah, because Brad Tavares round 3 decision is minus 130, and Victor Henry round 3 decision right now is minus 145. The 10 to win 29.80.
All right.
But.
There we go. Yeah, plus 198. So what do I put? 10. I'll put 1033 on it, because that's what I got 135 in my account.
Sense.
Yeah. All right, $10.33 to win $30.88 as the podcast parlay of the week. Victor Henry 3-or decision and Brad Tavares 3-or decision. Dun, 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 dun. Where are we at? There we go.
Dun, 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 dun.
Plus 198 podcast parlay of the week. Hopefully you get back rolling this time, D-Rose, because once again, last week was the first time that both our legs lose since we've been doing it. Or in reality, the first time my leg has lost since we've been doing this shit. And I didn't like it. I didn't feel good about it. And after, I just felt like an idiot, because I'm like, I should have just did the under 1.5. You know, why did I do two Drober? It is what it is. But with that being said, you guys, let's run through the chat one last time and let's get out of here. Also, for UFC 317 International Fight Week, what do you prefer the main event be? I think we're going to get an announcement real soon.
Ilya Islam. I feel like that's what it's got to be.
I don't know, man. Maybe.
I mean, again, I would love Islam, or I'm sorry, Ilya to fight Dustin Poirier. I know I was saying that earlier, but I mean, in terms of what could be, big fight, generate a lot of money, that type of like International Fight Week appeal. Yeah, I think Islam versus Ilya would do big.
Yeah, dude, I don't know. Like, they're gonna be like, all right, Alex versus fucking someone else. Like, Alex ain't even the champion. So what, Chama? Alex in a headline International Fight Week for the interim champion.
There you go. Against Khalil Roundtree in the rematch.
Yeah, right. Like, why not?
For the interim.
Yeah. All right.
I was like, I'm not even hurt, dude.
All right. So one last time, Different picks this week for the pick champ: Daniel Frunza, Reese McKee, Ode Osborne, Louis Groulet, and Martin Boudet, Kennedy Nzechukwu. I'm on Frunza, Ode Osborne, and Martin Boudet. D Rose is on Reese McKee, Dennis Groulet, and Kennedy Nzechukwu. And podcast parlay of the week is Victor Henry and Brad Tavares to win via 3 or decision. If you miss my parlay, that's what I've cooked up early in the week. I'm going to have some more shit cooked up for y'all Friday for Change of Cheddar. But anything before we get out of here, D Rose? Are you good to go, brother?
No, man. I think we are. I'm kind of almost going back and forth in my head whether I should do Ode Osborne or and Garul or Torres Finney and Robert Valentine. I'm going back and forth in my head now, but I think I'm going to.
You got a chance to change it before we get off here. And also, what do you want as the backup, just in case one of them falls off?
Okay. So let's do this. Let's change it to Torres Finney and Robert Valentine. I'll give you that.
All
so
right.
let's take Ode Osborne and Garule out of there.
You want to use this as the backup?
Yeah, we'll use that one as the backup instead. And then we'll have Torres Finney and Robert Valentine in there. Yeah, I started thinking about it, and I was like, actually, no, I do feel good about Finney.
All right. So our 3 picks for the pick champ this week are, I pressured D-Rose into it, picking my 2 favorite underdogs on the card, where I now get Robert Valentine and Martin Boudet and Dennis Frunza. I really don't care about that one. I really don't have a lean there, so hopefully he wins. But Ode Osborne versus Dennis Groulet is the backup. So one more time, Dennis Frunza versus Reese McKee. I'm on Frunza, D-Rose on Reese McKee. Robert Valentine versus Torres Finney. I'm on Robert Valentine and D-Rose on Torres Finney, and Martin Boudet versus Kennedy Nzechukwu. I'm on Martin Boudet and D-Rose on Kennedy Nzechukwu. Yeah?
Yep. Yeah, I like that.
All right. All right. The standing around. What if they made Gaethje versus Topuria? Oh man, it would be a banger, but that might be the last time we see Gaethje ever again.
That would be a badass fight, man. But I don't know if that's International Fight Week headline worthy. That while it's a fun fight, I don't know if it's that type of headliner.
Yeah,
with no belt.
I'm sure we'll get some news soon, though. I'm sure we'll get some news soon, man, because it ain't too far away.
Got to, man. Yeah, got to. Because I mean, if you want to sell tickets, you got to get an announcement at some point.
Yeah, man. All right. With that being said, y'all, me and D-Rose going to get out of here. We appreciate y'all for stopping by, hanging out with us here tonight. If y'all haven't already, please do us a favor. Hit that thumbs up button for your boys. Hopefully you can make some money this weekend at UFC Vegas 105, but be careful. It's Apex card, sketchy fights. Also, don't be betting more than you can afford to lose. Don't be out there betting your rent money and shit, because these fights in specifically aren't the best fights in the world. So she can go real south real quick, but vice versa. You know, you play $5, $10 on it, you can make a lot of money on fights like this, because 2025 seems to be the year of the underdog. D-Rose, a lot of underdogs keep winning this year. Yeah, which is one of the most lovable parts about the sport, man. And that's why we love it so much, man. Indeed. So with that being said, that's going to be all from us. My name is Matt. D-Rose is on that side of the screen. This has been the Golden Octagon MMA Podcast number 154. And with that being said, I'll catch y'all Friday for Change of Cheddar. And probably catch you Friday for the UFC royalty that comes out as well, if I can get a box of that. But with that being said, I'll catch you guys later. Peace.